It's the most powerful show on television. High drama with intense energy. A show dedicated to a few brave souls who risk their lives for the sake of their craft. Its in-depth reporting goes to the core and unlocks the mysteries behind today's raciest sport. Motorsports. Catch it when you can.
Speed Station welcomes you to Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa for the running of the Corn Belt 150. In the race analysis, folks, this weekend is a very unique one with the dirt racing format. The starting grid will be set through 2 heat races of 50 laps apiece. We're going to split the field up in half, and if you're wondering how we're determining who's starting in which heat, heat number 1 will determine the inside row for the Corn Belt 150, and the starters of heat 1 are the odd-numbered runners in current point standings and owners' point standings. Heat number 2, the starting grid will be set by even runners in owners' points. So we're splitting the field in half. We have 60 entries here at Knoxville. That means 30 trucks will run each heat. You have to finish in the top 21 of each heat race to make the 42 truck starting grid. So that means we have a full 18 trucks going home following the 2 heat races. And obviously there's no provisionals or anything like that. You have to make this show through the heat races. The starting grid as well for the individual heats will be set through a random drawing. So that's going to randomize the grid a little bit more. Once we get done with the heats, by the way, we are going to invert the finishers from the first 2 heat races. So that means whoever just barely makes it into the feature by the skin of their teeth, aka they finish 21st in Heat 1 or Heat 2, they will start on the front row of the feature event. But because we don't have any types of provisionals or anything like that, you really don't want to be running down in 21st position, because sure, it'll give you track position to start the Corn Belt 150, but with one mistake, you'll be knocked out of the race altogether, so it's really not worth trying to drop back on purpose and score the pole position. In the race analysis of the feature, it will take place over the course of 150 laps around this half mile here in Iowa, with stage number 1 ending on lap 40 and stage 2 coming to its conclusion on lap number 90. Also, because we are not doing single truck qualifying, whoever sets the fastest lap in the feature will get an automatic advancement into the All-Star race postseason at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We also have quite a few dirt ringers in the race here at Knoxville, including Norm Benning in his final race as a Camping World Truck Series truck owner. As you recall, we announced this a couple months ago, Norm Benning will be merging his team with Rev Racing, which is an Arca Menard Series team. They will be fielding a developmental program with Norm Benning kind of working as a general manager. He will likely also run a few races in what will likely still be the number 6 truck under the Rev Racing banner. They will likely make their debut once the playoffs begin this season. But we also have drivers such as Mike Marlar in the 56 truck, Logan Schuhart, Brian Brown, Sheldon Hodenshield, Donnie Schatz, Brad Sweet, and many others who are running this weekend's event. So it ought to make for a very good show here on the dirt. We had one truck actually withdraw. It's the number 53 truck of Jonathan Davenport. There was a Nationals up at I-80 Speedway in Nebraska that got rained out. That, combined with the fact that Starcom Speed Station's trying to get the number 55 truck of Ty Majeski into the playoffs, at least through points, because he's only 3 points outside of making the playoffs currently, they opted to withdraw the number 53 truck of Jonathan Davenport. He is still signed up for the Charlotte Dirt Track later on in the playoff portion of the season. And finally, John Hunter Nemechek has been suspended for the next 2 races here at Knoxville and Richmond following his antics with both Carson Hocevar and Parker Kligerman in the Die Hard 200 at the Milwaukee Mile, intentionally getting into both of those competitors. So that's absolutely going to be a huge points hit for that number 4 team. They're already more or less in must-win territory, but this will more or less confirm that they either have to win at Myrtle Beach, Daytona Beach, or Daytona International Speedway if they want to make the playoffs this season. This weekend, the number 4 truck will be driven by a dirt racing ringer, Logan Seavey, who ran the Eldora Dirt Derby back in 2018 for Kyle Busch Motorsports, so he is just returning to the KBM stable. Odds are Derek Griffith will compete in the number 4 truck at Richmond International Raceway. In your regular season point standings, coming into tonight's race here at Knoxville Raceway, Matt Crafton holds just a 2-point advantage above the number 2 truck of Sheldon Creed. It's been an incredible points battle all season long, but look at that number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes. He has closed the gap just to 16 points, separating the top 3 runners in the point standings as we close in on the regular season championship at Daytona. It's going to be a remarkable battle between those 3. And farther back, we have Ty Gibbs in 4th position. He is 44 points out of the point lead. That's more or less one race. So really, at this point, it's just a 3-man battle for the regular season championship. Parker Kligerman still having a great season for Henderson Motorsports. He's 5th in points, also 44 points outside of the lead. Ty Gibbs gets the tiebreaker there with his win at Talladega Superspeedway earlier this season. Timothy Peters has moved up to 6th in points for Nemco Motorsports. A great run so far this year. Ford is still trying to get the new body flaring on the front end of the F-150s to be cleared by NASCAR to begin competition starting with the playoffs. So we'll have to keep our eyes on the Ford teams once we get into the final 10 races of the season. But Peters currently sets 46 points out of the point lead, by far the best Ford of the 2021 campaign and the only Ford to visit victory lane this season. Grant Enfinger now runs at 7th in points, 53 points out of the lead. Ty Dillon in 8th position, 56 points out of the point lead. Christian Eckes in 9th spot, 64 points out of the lead. And Casey Mears in 10th, 65 points out of the point lead. In your playoff standings, Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes, Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, Ty Gibbs, Timothy Peters, Grant Enfinger, Casey Mears, Dawson Cram, Ryan Truex, Brennan Poole, and Stuart Friesen are all locked into the playoffs so far via their wins this season. Parker Kligerman still sets best of the rest, 58 points above the cutoff line. Ty Dillon a full 46 points above that line as well. Barring any more additional winners, it looks like Dillon and Kligerman are fairly safe on that cutoff line. But look at the 16th through 18th place runners. Brett Holmes and Austin Theriault are tied on the cutoff line. Brett Holmes just barely gets the tiebreaker, with them both being +0 and -0. Austin Theriault loses that tiebreaker and is currently on the outside looking in. Ty Majeski sets 3 points outside of making the playoffs. He's in 18th in the playoff points. John Hunter Nemechek sets 15 points out of making it, but he will be forced to sit out of this weekend's race at Knoxville and the next race at Richmond. So it looks like they're pretty much guaranteed to have to win to make the playoffs this season. They've already kind of struggled all season long. They're just barely starting to get the ship righted, but now this is going to be a big enough hit to where they will have to score a win in the final 3 races of the regular season. And finally, Zane Smith, the defending Rookie of the Year award winner, scored 2 wins last season, so far winless this year. He sets 25 points out of making the playoffs. They're going to have to make something happen and score a victory in these final few races of the regular season. Hello everyone, welcome back to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Ride-Along segment. We are back in the test truck here at Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa. This place was built back in 1878 as a horse racing track, first adapted to automobile racing back in 1901. The surface here is black zook clay, not the typical red clay you'll find a whole lot of dirt tracks. Anyway, here we are coming off of turn number 4. Green flag for a mock run. This place kind of drives like a slick asphalt track. You want to kind of keep the truck right down on the bottom, accelerate coming off the corners, and keep the truck as straight as possible so you can actually get the drive off and get those straight launches on corner exit. That's what makes drivers such as, say, like Donnie Schatz so fast. He was great in the practice sessions here because they know how to get that straight launch off on corner exit. It's a lot like, I guess what you could say, what you see at Richmond. Richmond International Raceway, the asphalt track where it's really critical to get a good drive off. Well, here at Knoxville, you want that straight drive off to be able to throttle your way up on exit and get down to that start-finish line quickly, because that's where you're going to be making up a lot of your time. It's not exactly turn in, but it's center off and getting that straight drive out of the corner. You don't really want to slide the truck around too much. It's not typical of most dirt tracks to want to keep the thing very straight, but exceptionally here, you want to keep that truck as straight as possible and not want to have to overcorrect back to the right very often. Like I said, drives like a slick asphalt track, just very loose and try to keep it stable throttle application. Keep that steering wheel as straight as possible coming off on exit, and it should produce strong laps here at Knoxville Raceway. It's going to produce a fantastic show in front of a sold-out crowd here in Knoxville, Iowa. It's going to be very fun for an inaugural event in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and a fantastic way to cap off the Triple Truck Challenge, which has already handed out over $100,000 to both Brennan Poole and Timothy Peters. And that's a few laps around Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa, and a NASCAR Camping World truck. This is definitely going to be a fun night. And so here's the starting lineup for heat number 1. Obviously, this heat will set the inside row of the Corn Belt 150. The starting grid for this heat was determined by a random draw, and that randomization has put Tanner Gray on the pole spot for Heat 1. Then we have Corbin Forrester in the number 7 truck in second, Michael Self third, Devin Rouse in fourth position, trying to make his first Camping World Truck Series start. Ty Majeski in fifth position, Dawson Cram in sixth, coming off of his very fantastic win at Michigan International Speedway, his first career victory, in a way overdue going off of his performance this season. Zane Smith drew 7th position in heat number 1, Logan Schuhart in 8th spot, Mike Marlar in 9th position, and Brennan Poole rounding out the top 10. And remember, you will have to finish 21st or higher in this heat race to make the feature. So it's definitely going to be a battle all throughout this 50-lap heat race to make the Corn Belt 150. And so now, let's get down trackside for the command.
Drivers, start your engine!
Go out there and have a good time today. Let's make it happen at the end, my friend. Take thumbs up here. Get ready to rock and roll. Good luck to you guys on pit road down there today.
And so now the pace truck peels off the racetrack and onto pit road. Tanner Gray leads the field onto the front straightaway. Flagman has the green flag in hand. And there it is. We are now underway for heat number 1 here at Knoxville. This race sets the inside line of the feature. You got Grant Enfinger running wide farther back. On the inside, we have Michael Self going for the race lead on the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. The field using up every inch of the racing surface here at Knoxville, with Michael Self taking the race lead on the exit of turn number 4, leading the first lap here in heat number 1. Right now, the 21st position and final transfer spot is being held by the 50 truck of Gio Selzy. Look at how far back Corbin Forrester has dropped on the start of the race. He started this thing in second position, and looks like he's already dropped down to about last as there's trouble on the front stretch. 21 truck of Zane Smith hard into the inside wall and back in front of the pack. Caution's out. The yellow flag is waving here at Knoxville Raceway for the first time. Michael Self leads the field back to the caution flag. Above the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. Then the 55 truck of Ty Majeski. Somewhat of a surprise right there for Majeski to race his way up to third spot. He's very much an asphalt racer by trade. Christian Eckes also raced his way up to fourth. And fifth position was taken by Chandler Smith. And before we look at the accident, just look at how bad of a start this was for the number 7 team of Forrester. They obviously drew the second position for heat number 1, but immediately Rouse sends him up the racetrack in that 34 truck. Corbin Forrester already forced above the cushion of the racetrack, now outside the top 10, and the field is just swarming him at this point. Look at this, being put 5 wide right now, all the way up on the outside line, almost contact with the outside wall. We have Matt Crafton right now, right in line behind him. Crafton forces him wide, and Forrester up into the outside wall, dropping from second down to about 28th position in just 3 laps. And Michael Self got the entire opposite start of the race, getting that great drive on the start, drove down to the inside of the 15 truck of Tanner Gray, and inched his way into the race lead down the backstretch on the first lap. A great handling truck for Rackley WAR so far. And so here's what happened to Zane Smith. He's racing for third place right here with Mike Marlar and the 55 truck of Ty Majeski. Marlar makes contact with the tailgate of the 21 truck of Zane Smith and turns him right down into this opening of the guardrail on the inside wall. Huge impact. Then he gets hit by the 44 truck of Bailey Curry, up into the 3 truck of Logan Schuhart, and also taking the defending race winner of Brennan Poole up into the outside wall with him. Here's the impact in real time for this 21 truck. Right down into that wall. Really nothing he could do, and then he gets hit by the 44 truck of Bailey Curry. Fortunately, Zane Smith is uninjured in this one, but a huge wreck already here at Knoxville Raceway. And you know what? This might be a death blow to Zane Smith's hopes of making the playoffs this year via points. It's looking all the more likely that he is going to have to make the playoffs this season by pulling off a victory in the final few races of the regular season, because that number 21 team is done, and that means they will not make the Corn Belt 150. Unfortunately, an early DNF here in heat number 1 knocks them out of contention of making the Corn Belt 150, a DNQ for the number 21 team. And you know what? Matt Crafton, who comes into this race with just a 2-point lead above Sheldon Creed in regular season points, he runs down in 19th position, right on the danger zone of missing the field. And right now, Brian Brown in that number 51 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports. He is actually the track record holder here at Knoxville Raceway in sprint car competition. He currently runs in 16th position, pretty much on that same danger zone with Matt Crafton. One driver who did make it through the mess entering turn 1 was the 03 truck of Sheldon Haudenschild. Did a great job missing the wreck, and he is still in contention. And the 56 truck of Mike Marlar is likely going to be off the pace on this restart. He runs in 10th position because, I mean, if you pit, you're going to lose all your track position and potentially a shot at making the Corn Belt 150. But he's got a lot of damage on that 56 truck. It's going to be hard for him to stay out front. And so now the pace truck ducks onto pit road. Michael Self in that 25 truck leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway into the restart zone on lap number 8 of Heat 1. And there's the green flag. Once again, the 25 truck gets a great jump down to turn 1, but here comes Tanner Gray and Ty Majeski going 3 wide on the inside. Incredible racing here at Knoxville already. 3 wide entering turn number 3, Majeski on the bottom. And here comes his teammate, Christian Eckes, to the inside of the 55 truck. 3 wide at the stripe, it's Majeski to lead the lap. 25 truck sends it in way high, maybe hops the cushion a little bit. And now it's Eckes and Majeski out front. Eckes trying to slide it down into turn number 3. Got a little bit too sideways, lost a little bit of momentum. 55 truck's going to be able to hold the momentum off the top side and lead that lap as well. We're already a fifth of the way through heat number 1. Ty Majeski clears the field for the race lead as we have his teammate Christian Eckes taking up second position. Devin Rouse trying to take up third, but he gets put 3 wide by the number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes. Now we once again have a battle between teammates for the top spot. Eckes trying to make a look to the inside of Majeski through turns 1 and 2. Able to point that truck just a little bit lower on exit. Side by side right here at Knoxville Raceway. Already great dirt racing we've seen so far in just 13 laps. Now beginning the 13th lap, actually just 12 laps completed. 12 truck once again tries just a little bit too hard to get a good entry to turn 1. Lost a little bit of momentum. Ben Rhodes now cleared the field for third position. We have Tanner Gray back on the inside. He gets turned around. Caution flag is back out. Rouse on top of the guardrail and over. Now on top of the 15 truck, the caution flag waves as Matt Crafton also got turned around. Another big wreck here in Knoxville. As racing back to the flag, it was the 55 truck of Majeski to hold the race lead above the 12 of Christian Eckes, 99 of Ben Rhodes, 25 truck of Michael Self, and 46 of Chandler Smith. Boy, that sure escalated quickly. You see the 15 truck of Tanner Gray try to make a 3-wide move to the inside of Chandler Smith and Michael Self. Rouse sees an opportunity to potentially make it 4 wide on the inside. 15 truck almost loses it on entry. 34 truck is committed to the throttle, makes contact with the 15 of Tanner Gray, turning him up into the outside guard railing. The 15 truck slides up into the 34, then Rouse climbs that guardrail, turns up onto his side. 88 truck of Matt Crafton gets turned around while slowing up for the accident by the 30 truck of Brendan Poole. You see the 34 rolls over and onto the bed of the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. Then the 30 and 88 trucks of Matt Crafton and Brendan Poole actually pile into this, and that's what causes the 34 truck to turn back over onto its wheels and land on the hood of the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. Here's how Matt Crafton got turned around. He's trying to slow up for the accident. Gets hit in the tailgate by the 30 truck of Brendan Poole. Doesn't quite get the memo as quickly as he probably needed to stay off of the tailgate of the 88 truck. They then slide up into the 15 and 34 trucks, escalating that previous wreck a little bit more. And here's the accident in real time. Right here, 34 truck makes contact with the 15, slides up into the wall. 34 goes over. 88 truck slides in and piles into the 34 and 15 trucks. A big wreck once again here at Knoxville. Fortunately, no injuries in this one either. And finally, here's the onboard of the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. Right here gets turned around by the 34. You see on his onboard, slides up into the 34 truck and he goes over. Then gets hit by the 30 and 88 trucks and has the 34 truck come to rest on top of his hood. And now this could be a big hit for the number 88 team of Matt Crafton. As I mentioned on the last restart, they come into this race with a 2-point lead above Sheldon Creed. There's a lot of damage on the 88 truck, which is certainly going to hurt them, and right now they set outside of a transfer position. And in all my years, I never thought I'd see this stunt really get tried again. 34 truck of Devin Rouse is still on the racetrack. They pulled a 1997 Dale Earnhardt move on us, flipped the truck, and they are still in the race. However, they are one lap down off of race leader Ty Majeski, but they are still in it in case enough trucks drop out. Now that is a never give up attitude for that number 34 team. However, the same cannot be said for the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. Unfortunately, Gray is out of heat number 1. Gray will officially DNQ for the Corn Belt 150, but Devin Rouse still has the opportunity of making the race, even knowing that he is one lap down. But he will have to hope that enough trucks can drop out. Number 30 truck of Brendan Poole's also still in the race. They had to cut the hood off of that truck as well. So Poole still has the opportunity of making the big show, and he is on the lead lap. And by the way, our scoring is updated. Rouse is actually 2 laps behind race leader Ty Majeski, so that really is more or less insurmountable. But if we keep getting cautions like we've seen so far, they might just be able to get that 34 truck in the show. But still a valiant effort from that team, taking that truck that I more or less thought had completely wrecked out, flipped the thing, got the thing back to pit road, repaired it, and they're still in the show. As the lights are off on the pace car this time by, looks like the pace truck will be pulling off onto pit road. Now Ty Majeski leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway for the restart on lap number 18. And there's the green flag. Majeski gets a good jump above his teammate Christian Eckes down to turn number 1. Majeski slides up the racetrack a little bit. 4-wide battle now for second as the 25 truck gets turned into the inside wall by Chandler Smith. No caution as Michael Self saved that truck. Ben Rhodes shoots by on the inside to take second. Remarkable racing here at Knoxville already. Rhodes now up into second position. Ty Majeski still out front. 99 truck looks to have a really good handle on the racetrack right now, turning about a truck width lower than that 55 truck on the racetrack. 46 of Chandler Smith trying to make his way into third now, running down the 12 truck of Christian Eckes, and the 03 of Sheldon Hodenshield has made his way up into 5th spot. Caution flag is being displayed once again. This is now the race back to the start-finish line. Ty Majeski is going to lead the field back to the caution flag. Majeski is your race leader above the 99 truck of Ben Rhodes, 12 of Christian Eckes, 46 of Chandler Smith, and 03 of Sheldon Hodenshield. By the way, the 45 truck of Ryan Unziker raced his way all the way up into 6th position. How about Norm Benning? Stormin' Norman racing his way to 10th. And here's what happened to bring out the caution flag. It did, in fact, involve the number 6 truck of Norm Benning. 23 truck slows up a little bit more than Benning anticipated. Benning makes contact with the tailgate of the 23, sends him around, entering turn number 1. 23 truck actually manages to get it corrected and stay off the outside wall, but it does bring out the caution flag once again. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of refreshing seeing a caution flag for a crash that does not completely wreck out a truck. Although I'm sure that there's no way that Brett Holmes is happy with Norm Benning right now. That actually knocked Holmes down into 23rd position right now on the outside looking in. And as you know, Holmes is right on the cusp of making the playoffs this season. And this is going to be kind of a big hit for them if they do not make the show. He only has to pass, fortunately, just 2 trucks to be back into a transfer spot. And there was contact right here under the caution flag period. There's Cody Rabaugh right up in front of the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger. Enfinger makes contact with the 9 truck, sending him down into the inside wall and around under the caution flag. This was accidental contact, but still a lot of front-end damage on that number 9 truck. As we've seen throughout the course of the race here at Knoxville, it is rather hard to abruptly slow up, so they collided with each other because they were slowing down for the caution flag. I mean, if it wasn't difficult to slow down these trucks quickly, Matt Crafton and Brendan Poole wouldn't have piled into the accident with Rouse and Gray. But that number 9 truck now comes down pit road, pitting from a transfer position to get some of that damage repaired. And they cut some sheet metal off the number 9 truck of Rabaugh, sending him back out. He's still on the lead lap. And aerodynamics don't really matter that much here at Knoxville. In fact, that's probably just going to lead to some better cooling to the front end of that race truck. So it might still be good enough to make this race by finishing in the top 21. By the way, folks, the final transfer spot right now is being held by the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. Right now, he just barely make the show by the skin of his teeth, but he would start the Corn Belt 150 on the pole spot if he does not have to go to a backup truck due to that damage. Looks like the damage will be repairable, though, if they do in fact make the show. But the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger, his teammate, right now is on the outside looking in, so Thorsport might be in a Sophie's Choice situation, but I'd still rather have Crafton make the show because of his point-leading position right now. And so now we've just hit halfway in heat number 1 here at Knoxville under caution. Lights are off on the pace truck. We'll be going green this time by. You know, going off of how many cautions we've already had over the course of this race, keep in mind this heat race can go into one green-white checker in case we need it. As the pace car now ducks onto pit road, Ty Majeski leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway for yet another single-file restart on lap 26. And there's the green flag for Majeski. Ben Rhodes gets to the inside of the 55 truck with a great jump on the restart. Side by side as the 45 truck gets turned into the inside wall by his teammate, Carson Hocevar. Contact between the Nice Motorsports teammates as Ben Rhodes takes away the race lead back to the start-finish line. We are still under green. 55 truck runs wide and up into the cushion. Now down to 4th position as here comes the 12 of Christian Eckes on the inside. Now challenging the 99 truck for position. Sheldon Haudenschild now moving up into 3rd spot. Battle side by side for the race lead. Once again, Christian Eckes on the inside of Ben Rhodes. Rhodes moves up the racetrack. Here comes Haudenschild on the inside. 3-wide battle right now for the top spot. Entering turn number 3. Contact farther back as there's a 4-wide battle for position. Haudenschild trying to find the grip on the inside line. As now the 99 truck really sends it off down to turn number 1. Loses a little bit of momentum through the center of the corner. Here comes the 42 truck almost out of nowhere. Right up to the back bumper. Now to the outside of the 03 truck of Haudenschild as he tries to go for 2nd on the 12 truck of Christian Eckes. That's a good opportunity for the number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes to try and extend his race lead. Here comes Majeski back to the inside, trying to take up 4th now as the 42 truck of Hocevar starts to slide back very slightly. And really, the contact with the inside wall has not hurt the 45 truck all that much. He's starting to carve his way back through the field, currently runs in 7th position. On the inside, we have the 03 truck of Haudenschild trying to turn beneath the 12 truck of Christian Eckes. Can't quite do it right now. We have 3 trucks under a blanket for the race lead at the moment. Right now, the last transfer position is still being held by the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. And right now it is swapped at the line. It is Camden Murphy now in the 21st position. Here comes the 12 back to the inside of the 99 truck. Christian Eckes side by side with Ben Rhodes. And it looks like Eckes is going to take away the race lead. And keep in mind that this will actually determine who starts dead last on the inside row for the feature, because we're going to invert the finishers of heat number 1. But still, it's a good payout to win these heat races. Number 12 truck led at the start-finish line with now just 15 and a half laps to go in heat number 1. Side by side for the top spot. Great dirt racing going on here at Knoxville. Side-by-side action more or less all throughout the field. It looks like Eckes is going to take away the race lead, but the 99 truck charges back on the outside using the momentum off the high line. Ben Rhodes looks like he might be able to clear the 12 truck, and he does it. Clears him off the high side through turns 1 and 2. But here comes the 12 charging back to the bottom. Back and forth action here at Knoxville as here comes the 55 truck of Majeski, now up into 3rd position once again. Haudenschild drops back as the 46 of Chandler Smith has now moved his way up into 4th position. 12 truck of Eckes once again gets the momentum on the inside line, drives right up to the door of the 99 truck. You see Dawson Cram farther back in 7th position, starting to make a charge towards the front of the field. 12 truck moves up the track just a little bit. It's going to let the 55 close the gap very slightly right there. 4 trucks right now under a blanket for the race lead. 99 truck of Ben Rhodes trying to hold off the competition. Here comes Eckes back down to the inside. Rhodes going to try and use the high side once again, but right now the 12 truck inches ahead down the backstretch. Down to turns 3 and 4. Christian Eckes takes away the race lead here at Knoxville. He's got his teammate Majeski trying to take up 2nd once again. Fantastic action out front here at Knoxville. Here comes the 99 truck back to the inside, trying to make it work. 55 of Majeski right there to make a move as well. We're getting up near lap traffic Right up in front of the race leaders, here comes Ben Rhodes, side by side with the 12. Once again, 10 laps to go in heat number 1. The 99 truck slides up the track just a little bit. 12 of Eckes using up the cushion. Right now, the last transfer position is being held by the 8 truck of Camden Murphy. Right up in front of the race leaders is the lap truck of Rouse, who flipped earlier on in today's running. Side by side at the line, it was too close to call. Scoring gives it to the 99 truck by a few thousandths. Here comes a 4-wide move for second. Haudenschild on the inside as Ben Rhodes clears the field. Incredible racing right now. Now Majeski trying to go up for second and trying to get side by side with Ben Rhodes. Lap traffic right in front of Rhodes. Rhodes gets stalled out just a little bit. On the inside, the front runner is going to get around the 34 truck rather cleanly. 12 truck gets boxed in just a little bit. Now Haudenschild once again trying to go 4 wide on the inside. Makes a little bit of contact with the 55 truck. Haudenschild going for second on the bottom. Moves up the racetrack just a little bit. Here comes another 4 wide move by Chandler Smith on the bottom. Contact between the 03 and 46 trucks. An intense battle for second as Ben Rhodes has started to gap the field because of that intense battle, putting a lap truck of Will Rogers between him and the second place runner of now Majeski, who has cleared the field for that second spot. And now the caution flag waves on lap number 46. Yellow flag is out once again. 99 truck of Ben Rhodes is your race leader above the 55 of Majeski. 46 of Chandler Smith, 12 of Christian Eckes, and 03 of Sheldon Haudenschild. Currently, the final transfer position is being held by the damaged 30 truck of Brennan Poole, last week's winner at the Milwaukee Mile. The 8 truck of Camden Murphy is on the outside looking in. And here's what brought out the caution flag on lap number 45. The 41 truck of Dawson Cram, who is a 6th place runner, makes contact with the lap truck of Devin Rouse, turning him down into the 42 truck of Hocevar. Rouse gets turned around entering turn 3. That's all too familiar of a sight. Slides up into Ryan Udziker, taking them up into the guardrail once again. Norm Benning got a little bit of damage out of this, sliding into the 42 truck of Hocevar, bringing out the caution flag for a late race restart here in heat number 1. And so, folks, this race has been extended beyond the advertised distance during this caution flag period. So that means this will count as our one and only green-white checker. The next flag, after we get the green, will end this heat and set the starting grid for the inside row of the Corn Belt 150. And I'll tell you what, Ben Rhodes has his work cut out for him on this restart. He's got a lot of hungry drivers behind him. Pretty big payout for this heat race as well. Lights are off on the pace truck this time by. Gearing up for our one and only attempt at a green-white checker finish. Right now, the last transfer position truck is the 30 of Brendan Poole above the 8 of Camden Murphy. Only 3 trucks on the lead lap right now who would be eliminated. So it's going to be more or less a 4 or more truck battle for that 21st position. We'll keep the 21st spot on the ticker right on our screen as the pace truck ducks on the pit road. Ben Rhodes leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway for a green-white checker here in heat number 1. And there's the green flag. Next flag ends the race. The number 99 truck got the jump on the restart. Here comes the 46 down to the bottom. Chandler Smith making great time on the inside. Here comes Dawson Cram carving his way through the field as well. Getting down to the bottom of Haudenschild right now. White flag is out. This race is official. On the inside, we have Smith going for second spot. Can he make a move on Ben Rhodes for the lead? At the line, that time by the 30 truck has dropped out of the Corn Belt 150. One last shot at it for the number 46 truck out of turn number 4. Ben Rhodes is going to win heat number 1 here at Knoxville. Chandler Smith a close second, racing back to the start-finish line. Who will get the last transfer position? It was the 3 truck of Logan Schuhart is your final truck to advance into the Corn Belt 150. The 30 truck of Brendan Poole, last week's winner at Milwaukee, has not made the show. Also, what a tough break for that number 25 team of Michael Self. I'm sure that he is not very happy with Chandler Smith. Got turned down to the inside wall off of turn 2 earlier on in this race after having a very strong truck. That knocked all the pace out of that 25 truck. They brought it home in 24th position. They will not make the Corn Belt 150. And so here's what happened on the final restart that knocked the number 30 truck of Brendan Poole out of the Corn Belt 150. You see Schuchart goes way too wide, hops the cushion, gets up into the outside wall, but then Camden Murphy slips by on the inside of the 30 truck. So this now knocks the 30 back down to 21st position. And down through turns 3 and 4, the 30 truck runs wide because Rouse moves him up the racetrack. The 3 of Schuchart gets to the bottom, and that's the battle for the final transfer position. The 30 truck hits the outside wall. Schuchart slips by on the bottom and takes away the final transfer spot off of last week's winner, Brendan Poole. A tough break for On Point Motorsports to miss the show here at Knoxville. And so Ben Rhodes has done it. Rhodes takes home the heat number 1 victory here at Knoxville. That means he will be starting in 41st position, by the way, for the feature event. Chandler Smith drove his way back to the front of the field, taking home the second place finish in the number 46 truck for KBM. Ty Majeski fell to 3rd position. Dawson Cram made a final restart rally up to 4th spot. Sheldon Hodenshield up into 5th position in the number 03 truck for On Point, so at least they made the race with one of their trucks, their dirt ringer in particular. It's still a tough break for Brendan Poole to miss the field. However, Poole does have that win at Milwaukee, which does guarantee him a spot in the playoffs if he can remain in the top 30 in regular season points, which should be easy enough for him. Brian Brown, in his first ever Camping World Truck Series start, finishes the heat race in 6th position. He adapted to these trucks very quickly. Parker Kligerman takes home a 7th place finish in the 75 truck for Henderson Motorsports. The 12 truck of Eckes in 8th position, Hocevar in 9th, and Brett Holmes rounding out the top 10, driving his way back through the field after being punted out of the way by Norm Benning earlier on in heat number 1. Matt Crafton also made the show, finishing in 17th position. And here's the trucks that DNQ'd through heat number 1 here at Knoxville. Unfortunately, Brendan Poole, the driver who drew 2nd for this heat as well, Corbin Forrester, he did not make the Corn Belt 150. Michael Self, after having a great truck, did not make the feature event. Let's just say there was a not-so-nice conversation between him and Chandler Smith following the conclusion of this heat race, but now Rackley WAR will be packing up and heading home, unfortunately. Will Rogers, only his 2nd race back in the Camping World truck. Unfortunately, he does not make the show here at Knoxville. Neither does Rabaugh. Rouse, who flipped, wrecked multiple times, but at least finished the race. Unfortunately, it really doesn't amount to much, as they will be packing up and heading home as well. Tanner Graves, Zane Smith, and Bailey Curry all DNQ as well from DNFing in heat number 1. And so now, after just a quick break, we'll be back right here at Knoxville Raceway for the beginning of heat number 2, which will set the outside row of the Corn Belt 150. Hello everyone, welcome back to Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa. We just wrapped up heat number 1, which saw Ben Rhodes take home the victory. That does mean he will be starting in 41st position though for the feature. But now we move on to heat number 2. Once again, the starting grid for heat 2 was determined by random draw, and through that randomization, Chase Purdy will start on the pole for heat 2. Keep in mind, obviously, the top 21 finishers in this field will determine the starting grid for the outside row of the Corn Belt 150. We are going to invert the finishers of this heat as well, but this will just set the outside row of the feature event. Jessica Friesen, Stuart Friesen's wife, drew the 2nd position in that number 62 truck. Brad Sweet of World of Outlaws fame in 3rd position. Ty Gibbs in 4th. Ty Dillon in 5th. Keith McGee in 6th position. Tony Breidinger in 7th spot, trying to make her Camping World Truck Series debut. Tate Fogelman in 8th spot. Stuart Friesen, who won the Camping World Truck Series race earlier this year at the Bristol Dirt Track, drew 9th position. And Corey Roper rounds out the top 10. There's also quite a few other notable drivers in the field, including Kyle Strickler, the high-side tickler, Donnie Schatz in the number 14 truck, David Gravel, Craig Kinzer, obviously Sheldon Creed is in the field for this heat, Will Kimmel, Haley Deegan, and finally Ken Schrader trying to make the field in the number 10 truck for Jennifer Jo Cobb Racing. He will be starting down in 21st position, which is right on the cusp of making the field. And so now let's get down trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Keep an eye on your temps for this first segment. We shouldn't really be in danger of overheating, but it will, probably get up to about 220, so just keep an eye on that.
And so the pace truck hits pit road. The number 26 truck of Chase Purdy leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway. Flagman has the green flag in hand, and we are now underway for heat number 2 here in Knoxville. The field fanning out down to turn number 1. Brad Sweet making the move on the inside, as here comes a nearly 5-wide move by Stuart Friesen on the inside of the racetrack. Almost getting onto the berm as Jessica Friesen drops back. Kyle Strickler all the way down on the bottom as Brad Sweet comes through the field to lead lap number 1. Make note of that front straightaway. Track officials went onto the racetrack at the conclusion of heat number 1 and repaired the front straightaway wall, making it a straight line instead of the opening that caught the number 21 truck of Zane Smith. So now it's a little bit safer than it was in heat number 1. See the entire wall on the front straightaway is a completely straight wall as Kyle Strickler has now made his way up to third. We got contact in the back, almost some trucks going around. It looked like Ken Schrader almost lost it, but he managed to keep that number 10 truck going in the right direction. Down on the inside, we have Will Kimmel picking up about 3 positions on the inside with a nearly 4-wide move. It's still 4 wide coming off of turn 4. Timothy Peters all the way on the inside trying to get around the 04 and 31 trucks. Jessica Friesen still dropping back through the field. Ty Gibbs has passed quite a few trucks already, now up into 5th position as Brad Sweet is trying to set sail out front here at Knoxville Raceway. The 26 of Chase Purdy still holding on to that 2nd position as the caution flag waves already. Yellow flag being displayed here at Knoxville for the first time in heat number 2. Brad Sweet leads the field back to the caution flag above the number 26 of Chase Purdy. Then the 20 of Kyle Strickler. 14 of Donnie Schatz raced his way all the way up to 4th spot. And then the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs in 5th position. The caution flag came out on lap number 5 as David Gravel slid up the racetrack on the exit of turn number 4 and got into the 1 truck of Haley Deegan. You notice the track officials made that guardrail straight in the gap between heat 1 and heat 2. That's what likely led to this accident not being as severe as it could have been. The impact into the inside wall ricochets the 24 truck of David Gravel back up the racetrack. Jessica Friesen manages to miss it, but the 31 truck of Ty Dillon does not. Rams the tailgate of the 24 truck of Gravel up into the outside wall with the back bumper, then gets hit by the 0 of Tate Fogelman, bring out our first caution flag of heat number 2. And here, let's just take a look at this move again. This is on lap number 1 of the race. You have Kyle Strickler going 5 wide, making contact with Stuart Friesen, forcing Friesen up the racetrack, nearly getting up into Tony Breidinger coming off of turn 4, still racing 5 wide all the way on the inside of the racetrack. An incredible move out of Strickler, making his way all the way up into 3rd position. As you saw right there, Ty Dillon tagged the outside wall, and that's what dropped him back far enough to get involved in the David Gravel accident. By the way, Austin Hill started this race down in 30th, and he has now climbed his way all the way up to 21st position. Now in the final transfer spot, the 10 truck of Ken Schrader sets on the outside looking in. So I really did not expect this, but after being involved in that accident with Haley Deegan and David Gravel, the number 31 truck of Ty Dillon is now out of the race from all the front-end damage he got from ramming the number 24 truck. So unfortunately, Ty Dillon will not make the Corn Belt 150 here at Knoxville. They have DNQ'd the event. Look at this, we have 3 Fords in the top 10. Todd Gillen, Haley Deegan, and Will Kimmel. A surprisingly good run right now for the F-150s. Farther back, we have the Memphis race winner of Timothy Peters. He currently resides in 14th position. Pace truck hits pit road. Brad Sweet leads the field out of turn number 4. And now onto the front straightaway for a single file restart on lap number 10. And there's the green flag for the number 29 truck. A great jump on the restart above the 26. Here comes Strickler down to the inside. Now taking up the 2nd position in the number 20 truck for Young's Motorsports. You see Will Kimmel all the way down on the bottom farther back, trying to go 4 wide through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Donnie Schatz to the bottom of Strickler. Schatz really drives it in deep down to turn number 1. Stuart Friesen gets moved up the racetrack by the 38 truck. Haley Deegan making her way through the field as the yellow flag waves once again. We are now racing back to the caution flag. The 29 truck of Brad Sweet is your race leader. The battle for 2nd was too close to call at the stripe, but scoring will give it to the number 20 truck of Kyle Strickler. Strickler still in 2nd. Donnie Schatz moved up to 3rd spot. 26 truck of Chase Purdy holding on to 4th. And Sheldon Creed made his way up into 5th position, trying to make this race and still have a shot at taking home the regular season point lead following tonight's event. Trouble continues for David Gravel here in heat number 2, coming off of turn 4. The 33 truck of Ryan Truex clips the 24 of Gravel, sends him down into the inside wall, bring out the caution flag once again. Gravel gets that truck corrected, but it was still enough to bring out the yellow. And so now Gravel is scored on the outside looking in. He made his way back to the start-finish line in 24th position, matching his truck number. So he's got some work to do on this next restart, as he has actually been involved in both cautions so far in just 14 laps. Ken Schrader, for right now, has raced his way into the field, the number 10 truck for Jennifer Jo Cobb Racing. He currently runs in 21st position, just barely on the inside of the field size. And farther back, we have the 92 truck of Austin Theriault for Brad Keselowski Racing. He runs down in 25th position, while his teammate Brad Sweet is leading the field here at Knoxville. And once again, the pace truck ducks onto pit road. Brad Sweet leads the field out of turn number 4, onto the front straightaway and into the restart zone on lap number 17 for yet another single file restart. And there's the green flag. This time, Strickler gets a bit of a jump into the first turn, looks down to the bottom as there's contact farther back. The 60 truck almost got turned into the inside wall. Now side by side for the top spot into the third turn. Strickler on the bottom. And Kyle Strickler will inch ahead at the start-finish line to hold the race lead, trying to slide up in front of the 29 truck. Strickler is your race leader. Brad Sweet hops the cushion as Donnie Schatz is now into the picture on the inside. Stuart Friesen battling side by side with Sheldon Creed as there was contact between Friesen and Deegan coming out of turn number 4 right there. And now a little bit of contact right there between the 38 and 18 trucks as Will Kimmel makes a 4-wide move on the bottom, using up every inch of the clay here at Knoxville Raceway, as now the 29 truck has cleared the 14 for second. Chase Purdy still doing a good job at holding on to that 4th position right now, being hounded by his teammate Sheldon Creed on the inside. But now, that 52 truck, Stuart Friesen's trying to hug that berm on the inside line and potentially make his way around the 26s now. Once again, there's a battle for second between two World of Outlaws regulars of Sweet and Schatz. 26 truck hops the cushion. He's going to lose about 3 positions right there. Let Sheldon Creed take up 4th and Stuart Friesen into 5th position. Schatz now to the bottom of the 29 truck as the battle for 21st position is currently being held by the 22 truck of Austin Wayne Self. The 10 of Schrader's races his way up into 15th position. Great rally going on right now for Jennifer Jo Cobb Racing as the 20 truck, Kyle Strickler, still remains out front. 14 of Schatz trying to muscle his way around the 29 of Sweet as the 52 of Stuart Friesen just pulled a slide job off on the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed, taking up 4th position. Now Creed moving up the racetrack has brought Timothy Peters and the 1 truck of Haley Deegan into the mix. Will Kimmel as well starting to make his way through the field, trying to make what would be only his 3rd Camping World Truck Series start of his career and 2nd since 2010. Right now, Strickler has a 6/10 of a second advantage above the 2nd place runner of Brad Sweet right now. The intense battle for 2nd between the World of Outlaws superstars has allowed Strickler to break out in front of the field. Now we are halfway through heat number 2 already. The laps count down very quickly as Sweet has overdriven turn number 1 and allowed Donnie Schatz to take up 2nd spot, with now his sights set on Kyle Strickler. Sweet still trying to find some traction up there, way up into the cushion, trying to find where it is tacky. Can't quite find it right now because he's still dropping back from the 14 of Schatz. We have the ongoing battle for 4th position right now between Sheldon Creed and Stuart Friesen. Creed going to try and pull a slider on him on the exit of turn 4, and it looks like he's going to do it. Sheldon Creed takes up the 4th position right now. Farther back, they're running 3 wide for position. You see Logan Seavey down on the inside, the substitute for John Hunter Nemechek, as now the 2 truck has cleared the 52 for 4th position. Donnie Schatz doing a good job at running down the 20 of Kyle Strickler. This is all the way back at the tail end of the field. There's a 4-wide battle for position. The 22 truck of Austin Wayne Self on the inside of Parsons, Reitzel, and Gus Dean. Is battling all across this racetrack right now. There's the 10 truck of Schrader holding on to 19th position. Right there is the battle for the final transfer spot, which is currently being held by either Fogelman or Terrio. It's hard to tell at the start-finish line. Scoring gave it to Fogelman. And here's the battle for the top spot. The 14 truck of Shots on the inside of the 20 of Strickler. Side by side for the race lead. Strickler doing his high side tickling. Shots still forcing that 20 truck up the racetrack, and here comes Brad Sweet getting his way to the inside of the 14. There was contact right there on the exit of turn number 4. And right now, with how hard these three have been running up front, that will bring the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed back into the mix. But I'm sure that Creed right here is racing with points in mind, as Brad Sweet is now taken up second, sliding around the 14 of Donnie Shots. But now the crossover back to the inside by Shots. Great battling right here. Like I was mentioning about Sheldon Creed, that team is racing for points right now. They just want to make the show and then really go for track position once they get into the feature. Now the slide job pulled off by Shots, and Brad Sweet once again going for the crossover. A really great battle for second position right now, and it is allowing Strickler to once again break away with that race lead. Sweet back to the inside, trying to go for second once again. At the line, it was Sweet to hold the second position. 14 truck of Shots moving up the racetrack as they still run in a dead heat for that second spot. Right now, the 20 has about a half a second gap on them. Brad Sweet tries to slide up in front of him, just barely did it, but the perfect crossover by the 14 truck of Donnie Shots. Very well timed, got right up to the tailgate and then carved his way down to the bottom. Runs in just a little bit deep into turn 3, trying to get side by side with the 29 truck, and Sweet's going to clear him off the top, using the momentum. The battle for 4th spot is ongoing between Creed and Friesen. Looks like Friesen's going to take it. Currently, the final transfer position is being held by Ken Schrader above Jesse Little in that number 97 truck. The 09 of Stephen Parsons has dropped 1 lap down. It looks like he had to come down pit road for a lot of front end damage. They might have cut off some of that sheet metal due to overheating. But right now, the gap separating first and second is 7/10 as Stuart Friesen has assumed 4th, and Shots and Sweet still battle for second. An incredible battle right here. Shots slides up in front of the 29, but yet again another crossover to the bottom. That's what you gotta love about dirt racing. It gives you those opportunities to try and make those slide jobs, and if they're not complete, well, guess what? A crossover happens in the next set of corners. It's leading this back and forth battling we're seeing between Sweet and Shots right now. Sweet re-clears him, but then Shots back to the bottom. 7.5 tenths now the gap between Strickler and the second place runners, which right now is more or less a dead heat between Sweet and Shots. If one of them can clear each other, they might be able to mount a charge on the 20 truck, but right now Strickler running away with this race lead. Shots on the inside, trying to force that 29 truck up the hill and hopefully hop the cushion, as now the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed has taken up 4th, getting up into this mix at the front of the field. And now less than 10 laps to go, in fact 9 laps to go in heat number 2 at the start-finish line. Once again, Shots tries to clear the 29 truck, couldn't quite do it, and here comes Sheldon Creed on the inside, now taking up 3rd spot. Maybe he was just hanging back a little bit. As now, still side by side with Brad Sweet. Couldn't quite do it as Sweet actually holds the momentum off the outside line. Stuart Friesen also closing the gap, as now the separation from first to second is 1.1 seconds. Strickler really breaking away right now, and almost no lap traffic up ahead of him. Battle side by side for second. At the line, I believe it was Sweet to hold the spot. Shots really drove it into the corner. Now a 3-wide move on the inside by Sheldon Creed. The final transfer position right now is being held by Jesse Little as the 2 trucks sends it in on the bottom. Sheldon Creed going for 3rd spot. At the line, he's going to hold it. Now just 6 laps to go. 1.3 seconds now the margin between Strickler and Shots. As now this battle for 3rd will allow Shots to assume that 2nd position with a clear margin. Sheldon Creed getting very racy with that number 29 truck of Brad Sweet. Now just 5 laps to go, 1.3 seconds, still the separation. Farther back, we still have Creed battling with Sweet and Friesen battling with Timothy Peters. On the inside, the 2 truck still holds 3rd, and the 14 of Shots still in 2nd position. And this is the battle for the final transfer spot. Right there, Tony Breidinger slid out of the position and let Jessie Little onto her inside, and Little is now in 21st spot, the final transfer position. Here's the battle for second position. You got Creed trying to go through the middle, shots on the outside, and Brad Sweet on the bottom. These two are about a second and a half off of the 20 truck of Kyle Strickler. Now Shots hops the cushion a little bit. Creed now taking up second, or at least attempting to. Looks like he is going to take it through the middle. Now just one lap to go here at Knoxville in heat number 2. Kyle Strickler holds a clear 1.8 second advantage above the new second place runner of Sheldon Creed. Creed is pretty much out of time as Strickler runs by himself through turns 3 and 4. A dominating performance here in heat number 2. Kyle Strickler will win the second heat here at Knoxville. Creed in second, Sweet third, and Shots in fourth. Who is going to get the final transfer position? Farther back, you see the 97 truck has beaten the 60 back to the start-finish line. The 97 of Jessie Little takes home the final transfer position here at Knoxville. The 60 truck of Casey Mears misses out by just a few tenths of a second. And unfortunately, Tony Breidinger will not qualify for her first Camping World Truck Series start. She did not make it in as she actually faltered in those final few laps, hopped the cushion, and really could not find the momentum back, and will finish in 23rd spot. And so here was the move for the final transfer position. You got Jessie Little up on the outside, battling the 02 truck of Tony Breidinger. Then you have Casey Mears trying to make it 3 wide for the final transfer position. The white flag waves. They get to battling between Breidinger and Mears, and that allows the 97 truck of Jessie Little to drive away. Little taking home the final transfer position, with Schrader getting around Aaron Reitzel back to the start-finish line. So Schrader actually makes the field for Jennifer Jo Cobb Racing, one of the first races they've qualified for this season. And so the high side tickler has done it. Kyle Strickler takes home the heat number 2 victory here at Knoxville with a rather dominating performance once he got out front, mainly due to the amazingly intense battle for second spot between Creed, Sweet, and Shots. Sheldon Creed showing up to some of the greatest names in the modern era of World of Outlaws and beating them both, but just did not have enough time to get up to Kyle Strickler. But if he would have had about 10 or 15 more laps, pretty sure that number 2 truck would have taken home the heat number 2 victory. But Brad Sweet brings home the number 29 truck for Brad Keselowski Racing in 3rd position. Donnie Schatz in 4th. Timothy Peters 5th. Stuart Friesen in 6th position. Todd Gilliland 7th. Haley Deegan in 8th. Will Kimmel in 9th. A great performance there for his own operation. And Austin Hill drove his way from a 30th place starting position to a 10th place finish, solidly making the field. Other notable drivers to make the big show include Craig Kinser, Logan Seavey, Jessica Friesen, Ken Schrader, and Aaron Reitzel. And here are the drivers that did not make the Corn Belt 150 from heat number 2. Casey Mears, Tony Breidinger, Corey Roper, Keith McGee, Austin Wayne Self, David Gravel, Gus Dean, Stephen Parsons, and Ty Dillon. The toughest break right here is for Germain Racing. They missed the show with both Mears and Ty Dillon. And just think back to the Bristol Motor Speedway dirt track. Casey Mears actually got an upset runner-up finish to Stuart Friesen, but unfortunately for him, he just did not have enough to race his way around the number 97 truck of Jessie Little and make the field here at Knoxville. And even though he got into trouble, it's a little bit surprising to see David Gravel miss the show here at Knoxville. Being a dirt ringer and showing up with GMS Racing, they expected quite a bit out of that number 24 truck, but just luck did not play into their favor, and unfortunately Gravel will go home as well. And so now, after just a quick break, we'll be back right here at Knoxville Raceway for the beginning of the big show, the Corn Belt 150 feature event. Hello everyone, welcome back to Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa. We just wrapped up the second of 2 heat races. The field is now set, and following the 2 heat races, we obviously have inverted the field from the finishing order. So the driver who finished dead last in heat number 1 will start on the pole for the feature event, and the driver who finished in dead last of heat number 2 will now start in second position for the feature. So due to the full field inversion, Logan Schuhart will start on the pole in the number 3 truck for Anderson Germain Racing, with Jesse Little in the number 97 truck in second position, Camden Murphy in third for Nemco Motorsports, Aaron Reitzel in fourth position, Grant Enfinger fifth, Ken Schrader in sixth spot for Jennifer Jo Cobb Racing, Johnny Sauter in seventh position, Jessica Friesen in eighth spot, Matt Crafton, your point leader, in ninth position, just has a 2-point advantage above the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed, and Ryan Truex rounding out the top 10 in the number 33 truck. And so now we move on to the big show, 150 laps around this half mile here in Iowa. And now let's get down trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Nice smooth. It'll be there at the end. It's a long race. We just got to stay in contention. No mistakes. That's the big key. No mistakes today. We get up there. We get in the top 10. We ride. That's what we got to do today.
The pace truck now ducks onto pit road. Logan Schuchart, the number 3 truck, leads the field onto the front straightaway. Flagman has the green flag in hand as this sold-out crowd is on their feet. There is the green flag for the Corn Belt 150. The inaugural running here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Knoxville Raceway. Schuchart clears the field through turns 1 and 2. Grant Enfinger on the inside takes up second as the 97 truck of Jesse Little drops back. Lap number 1 is going to be led by Logan Schuchart as the field fans out farther back. You got Matt Crafton going 4 wide on the inside. Here comes Grant Enfinger going side by side with the number 3 truck of Schuchart. For the top spot, Camden Murphy now running in third position. 98 truck of Grant Enfinger is going to hold the lead at the start-finish line. A close battle for the top spot, but Enfinger will hold it as the number 3 truck drives off into the corner. And it's going to be the 98 to hold the lead as Schuchart tries to pinch him down on the inside. Can't quite do it. Farther back, look at the field use every inch of the dirt. Down way on the bottom next to the berm, we have the number 2 truck of Sheldon Creed way back there, going almost 6 wide on the bottom, trying to carve his way through the field as the 98 truck has cleared the 3 of Logan Schuchart. Third position looks like it's going to be taken by Aaron Reitzel on the inside of the 8 truck of Camden Murphy. Jessica Friesen trying to race her way around Gio Scelzi right there. And Ken Schrader in the midst of a 4-wide battle. Matt Crafton, current points leader, passes Unzicker, Schrader, and Sauter in one corner. And Sheldon Creed is trying his hardest to carve his way through the field and have a shot at this 88 truck, but contact right there between the 88 and 97. Into the inside wall goes Matt Crafton. Front end damage on the 88 truck of Crafton. That's certainly going to slow up Crafton's advance towards the front of the field and could be a great opportunity for this number 2 team of Sheldon Creed. Right now, Matt Crafton starting to get freight trained as Crafton almost hopped the cushion through turns 1 and 2, led about 4 trucks onto his inside, including Schrader and Unzicker. Farther back towards the front of the field, we have the 98 and 3 trucks side by side once again. Enfinger up on the top, using up the cushion. And Logan Schuchart down the normal racing line as Aaron Reitzel has now taken up the third position off of Camden Murphy, the full-time monster truck driver, by the way, so he's got a lot of experience on dirt. The 98 truck held the momentum off the outside to clear the 3 truck at the start-finish line, and the caution flag is being displayed here at Knoxville. This is the race back to the start-finish line, side by side, between the 3 and 98 trucks. Who's going to get it at the stripe? Here comes the 98 holding momentum, and it was too close to call at the start-finish line. Scoring is going to give it to the 3 truck of Logan Schuchart to hold the race lead. Schuchart is your race leader. Above the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger, 83 of Aaron Reitzel, 8 of Camden Murphy, and 50 of Gio Scelzi. By the way, just for an update on your heat winners, the number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes, in 8 laps, raced his way from 41st up to 19th. That truck is certainly one to watch. But there was trouble for the second-place runner in points, Sheldon Creed, and the Heat 2 winner of Kyle Strickler. Obviously, because of the field inversion, they had to start at the tail end. Right here entering turn number 1, the 26 truck gets rear-ended by the 2 of Sheldon Creed. Teammates at GMS make contact right there. A lot of front-end damage on the number 2 truck of Creed. He tries to send Chase Purdy around, doesn't quite do it in full, but a lot of damage on that 2 truck. Now Creed's trying to get to the inside so he can hopefully get on to pit road and diagnose some of that damage. But he makes contact with the 20 of Kyle Strickler trying to move his way down the racetrack. Strickler then gets loose, then gets clipped by the 2 truck again up into the 87 of Timothy Peters. into the zero of Tate Fogelman. A hard hit up into the outside wall for Strickler. Almost climbed on top of the hood of the zero truck of Tate Fogelman. Memphis race winner Timothy Peters gets turned up into the outside wall. Brad Sweet also has to take evasive action. Tough break for Strickler already here at Knoxville Raceway. But after just 9 laps, both first and second in regular season points have already ran into severe trouble, with Creed getting involved in this accident, which is a lot more severe than Matt Crafton's run-in, but still damage on the 88 truck as well. The number 2 truck of Sheldon Creed is out of this race. The contact with the 26 truck and then the further damage down in turn 3 blew the radiator on the number 2 truck of Sheldon Creed. He is out. He is going to take home a 42nd place finish. Matt Crafton is still in the race and currently runs in 12th position, but Ben Rhodes raced his way all the way up to 18th position. If Matt Crafton gets a bad run with all that damage and Ben Rhodes can continue his march towards the front of the field, Rhodes might walk out of this race with the point lead, because he comes into this race only 16 points out of the lead. So he only needs to outplace Matt Crafton by 17 positions on the racetrack. And if he wins the race, that will be 5 playoff points as well. So Ben Rhodes could definitely walk out of this race as your regular season point leader. Knoxville could definitely deliver a massive shakeup to the playoff grid. We've got some trucks on pit road this time by, including Donnie Schatz, Dawson Cram, Ty Majeski, Stuart Friesen, Haley Deegan was one of them, Austin Terrio, and Brett Holmes all came down pit road this time by. With the amount of dirt getting kicked up, you might come down pit road just to clear off that grill opening, because overheating is something that we're likely going to see throughout the course of this 150-lap feature. It's a lot longer than the 50-lap heat races. Pace car hits pit road. Logan Schuchart leads the field out of turns number 4 and onto the front straightaway in a single file formation on lap number 14. And there's the green flag. The 3 truck gets a great jump on the restart as there's contact farther back. 26 truck hits the inside wall, but he keeps it together. 3 wide battle now, almost 4 wide for second. Camden Murphy on the inside of Grant Enfinger and Aaron Reitzel. Now Reitzel clears him on the inside, going for second. Trying to slide up in front of Enfinger as there's contact. Gio Selzy into the inside wall, but we're still green as he kept that number 50 truck together, but a lot of left side damage. Now almost 5 wide. Ken Schrader right up on the cushion, trying to carry that momentum. Norm Benning on the inside as well. 2 veterans of our sport. 4 wide goes Selzy on the bottom. They're making it work. Norm Benning made contact with the 6 truck and the 45 truck of Unzicker up into the outside wall. Caution flag is out as the 45 truck stalls. Racing back to the flag, Logan Schuchart is still your race leader above Aaron Reitzel. Camden Murphy, Jessica Friesen stole the 4th position, and Grant Enfinger hopped the cushion and dropped down into 5th position. Wild racing already here at Knoxville. So just take a look at this. Ryan Unzicker is running right up in front of this almost 5 wide gaggle of trucks on the front straightaway. Currently resides at that time in 6th position. Goes down to turn number 1. It's like that truck completely loses power. Gets actually ran into by the 10 truck of Ken Schrader, because Schrader had absolutely no way of slowing down in time. But that 45 truck just comes to a halt, entering turn number 1 and stalls up on top of the cushion. Bring out a caution flag. Oh, and we have quite a few trucks coming down pit road this time by on lap number 19, including the 97 of Jesse Little, 16 of Austin Hill. I believe that's the 11 of Craig Kinser. 10 of Schrader, obviously, with his damage. 4 of Logan Seavey. 03, the 03 truck of Sheldon Haugenshield. Max McLaughlin's down on pit road. Austin Terrio, Brett Holmes, and quite a few others hit the pits this time by, but the front runners will stay out. Under the second lap under caution, we also have the 87 truck of Timothy Peters coming down pit road. And we have a few trucks that are still on pit road that have dropped a lap down due to overheating issues, including the 99 truck of Ben Rhodes, who is a playoff contender for the regular season point championship. Rhodes is still on pit road. Strickler's still on pit road. And Ty Gibbs is still on pit road as well. They are now 2 laps behind the race leader. A really tough break for those contenders who had a legitimate shot at taking home the win in tonight's Corn Belt 150, especially Ben Rhodes in the number 99 truck, but he is now 2 laps down. And now under this lap, under the caution flag period, we have Jessica Friesen hitting the pits, as well as Camden Murphy. And now that we're still under caution, a few more trucks have decided it might be time to come down pit road, including Aaron Reitzel, Norm Benning, Matt Crafton, and the 33 truck of Ryan Truex. So actually quite a bit of strategy going on back and forth among these teams of when to come down pit road, when to stay out, because we're seeing different amounts of trucks pitting on pretty much every lap under this caution flag period. And it looks like after yet another lap under caution, we finally have our last taker into the pits. It's the 56 truck of Mike Marlar. Note we have 3 more takers on this next lap under caution. We have the 50 truck of Gio Scelzi into the pits, as well as Will Kimmel and Brian Brown. And now on lap 27, the leader, Logan Schuchart, opts to come into the pits. Looks like he's the only truck this time by to come down pit road. That actually hands the lead over to the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger. And so I think I know what these teams are actually trying to achieve. We have to make at least one fuel stop, which was anticipated to happen at the end of stage number 2. What I think these teams are trying to do is fake each other out and get track position now, so they don't need to make that fuel stop at the end of stage 2. However, all these fuel stop games under caution have led to an extremely long caution cycle. Finally, the pace truck hits pit road. Grant Enfinger leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway for a single file restart on lap 28. And there's the green flag for Enfinger. Down to turn number 1. The second place runner is Austin Hill, but he's trying to go side by side for the race lead. Contact between Murphy and Jesse Little. Into the inside wall goes the 97. Hard left side damage on the 97 truck as Austin Hill shoots by the number 98. Hill into the race lead. Remember that he started heat number 2 down in 30th position. Had to make the field through the heat races and now is leading the feature event. 98 truck now running in second. Looks like the 97 of Jesse Little is going to be pitting to address his left side damage. Enfinger to the inside of the 16 truck. Grant Enfinger and Austin Hill side by side for the top spot. Yet again, this racetrack delivering great side by side action. Farther back, we have a very low entry down to turn number 3 by the 8 truck of Camden Murphy. Looks like he's coming down pit road. Tire puncture on the 8 truck of Murphy as the caution flag waves once again at the start-finish line. It was the 98 truck of Enfinger edging out the 16 of Austin Hill. Enfinger being your race leader above Austin Hill, then Sheldon Haudenschild, Ken Schrader, and Christian Eckes. And so here's what brought out the caution flag. It was contact between Todd Gilliland and the lap truck of Ben Rhodes. Gilliland makes contact with him, turning Rhodes around on the entry to turn number 3, up into the outside wall. Rhodes, Gilliland, and Chandler Smith carry each other up into the outside guardrail. And so now under the caution flag period, the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger hits pit road, as well as the 10 truck of Ken Schrader and the 92 of Austin Theriault. It looks like the 16 of Hill will stay out above Haudenschild, Eckes, and Schatz. Let's see if we see any pit road games played on this cycle. Well, yes, we will. Because look right there, the top 5 trucks will be pitting this lap, but Reitzel looks like he may be staying out. The 83 truck, yes, he will. Reitzel will stay out on the racetrack for an additional lap. A lot of pit strategy going on here at Knoxville for when to put on tires, when to make that fuel stop, because it looks like a lot of these teams have already gone for the fuel stop, but they are opting to put on tires any chance that they get. 83 truck of Reitzel is going to be your race leader. Then the 6 truck of Benning in second, and Seavey with no hood on that number 4 KBM Toyota Tundra is going to be in third spot. By the way, they have now officially pulled the number 45 truck of Ryan Unziker behind the wall. His day is done. It was electrical issues plaguing the number 45 team. Now under the caution flag, the third lap under yellow, the 83 truck of Aaron Reitzel will be hitting the pits. That actually hands the lead over to Norm Benning. Great run right there for this number 16. Benning is going to be a race leader. But the 4 truck of Logan Seavey, the 87 of Timothy Peters dropped a lap down from overheating trouble. The 75 truck of Kligerman is going to restart third. Strickler is also a lap down as he was still on pit road for damage repair and overheating issues. The 88 of Matt Crafton is still on the lead lap, and the 55 of Majeski is as well on the lead lap. Lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to go green with just 4 laps to go in stage number 1 here at Knoxville. already had a bit of a race of attrition with multiple wrecks. The second place runner has no hood, differing pit strategies, and everything else combined with it. Coming off of turn number 4, Norm Benning leads the field into the restart zone. And there's the green flag. Down to turn number 1. The field fanning out. Here comes Seavey to the bottom. 4 wide goes Kligerman. 4 wide for the top spot goes the number 75 truck for Henderson Motorsports. Forces Benning to use up all of the cushion. Strickler trying to shove his nose into there. As a lap truck, Benning slaps the outside wall. Kligerman is now your race leader. Benning now moves Logan Seavey up the racetrack, almost 6 wide. Here comes Craig Kinser on the bottom. Incredible racing right now at Knoxville. Kyle Strickler trying to get one of his laps back, as well as Timothy Peters. Logan Seavey slapped the outside wall now. Just 2 laps to go in stage number 1. The 55 truck of Majeski on the inside. Now going for second on the 92 truck of Austin Terrio. Contact between Gibbs and Majeski. Now just 1 lap to go for Parker Kligerman in stage number 1 here at Knoxville. He can pull off the upset stage number 1 victory. Through turns 3 and 4, number 75 truck running uncontested. Off the final corner, Parker Kligerman will win stage number 1 here at the Knoxville Raceway. Kligerman takes home the stage number 1 victory. The Henderson Motorsports Chevrolet above Austin Terrio, who took second at the stripe, Majeski in third, Craig Kinser in fourth, and Norm Benning in 5th position. And so now, after just a quick break, we'll be back right here at Knoxville Raceway for the beginning of stage number 2. Hello everyone, welcome back to Knoxville Raceway. We are now under the stage number 1 caution. Race leader Parker Kligerman, after his bold 4-wide move for the stage number 1 victory, will be hitting the pits this time by, as well as the 5th place runner of Norm Benning. Let's see if we have any other takers. We will have Logan Seavey coming down. Johnny Sauter and Chase Purdy currently are the other takers. That's the interesting thing about the dirt races this season. We now have live pit stops. We used to not have that at the dirt races. We used to take breaks for the pit stops, but here at Knoxville, we have a live pit road, and we also had that at the Bristol dirt track as well, so that's why we're seeing so much strategy going on here at Knoxville, when to come down pit road during these long caution flag breaks. But it really is interesting how much fuel strategy we've already seen here at Knoxville. You can make it about 120 or so laps on gas, which is why we saw so many fake outs coming down pit road during the first stage, during those first few cautions, is because it was the teams trying to kind of game the system, I guess you could say, and get that track position by convincing other teams to come down pit road late and or early, depending on their strategy. But on this restart, due to pit strategy once again, as the lights are off on the pace truck, Austin Terrio is going to be your race leader above Ty Majeski, Craig Kinser, Stuart Friesen, and point leader Matt Crafton. Now the pace truck hits pit road. Austin Terrio leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway for yet another single-file restart to begin stage number 2 here at Knoxville. And there's the green flag. Down to turn number 1. He's got the lap truck of Strickler to deal with. Here comes Majeski trying a 3-wide move, but Kinser going 4-wide. Learned a lesson from Kligerman. Jumps down to the inside, going 4-wide for the race lead. Kinser trying to make it work, as Majeski's going to hold it at the stripe. Ty Majeski has picked up a lot of dirt racing skill this season. Here comes Friesen and Crafton on the inside. Matt Crafton's damage from earlier looks like it has not phased him that much, as now Kinser tries to lunge ahead of the 55 truck. Kinser leads at the stripe. Craig Kinser trying to win his first career Camping World Truck Series race, and believe it or not, he's been trying for quite a while. Was a developmental driver for Morgan Dollar Motorsports oh so many years ago. Almost 15 years ago now, as teammates to Dennis Setzer. And once again, Craig Kinser leads at the start-finish line, but there was one thing Kinser didn't have in the Truck Series when he raced initially. It was a dirt race, so this fits his driving style perfectly. Kinser still going side by side for the spot, as there's trouble in the back. We remain under green, but the field fanning out to almost 6 wide as Kinser clears the now second-place runner of Ty Majeski. Matt Crafton has assumed third. Here's what caused the stack up on the exit of Turn 2. Brad Sweet, as you can tell, he's got a lot of damage on the front end of that 29 truck. He tries to get down to the inside to hopefully come down pit road, but actually makes contact with the 69 truck of Will Kimmel and more or less just stalls out the entire field, forcing a 6-wide move down into turn number 3. But fortunately, the field made it through there cleanly. Right now, the 55 truck of Majeski trying to make his way to the inside of the 11 truck of Craig Kinser. Now, door-to-door, coming onto the front straightaway. At the line, it was Kinser, still the lead. Through turns 1 and 2, Kinser using up some of that cushion. 55 truck trying to stay down on that compacted dirt on the inside. As Friesen and Crafton now battle for third spot. Derek Kraus is a lap truck. He dropped a lap down due to overheating issues. He's currently running in 32nd position. You don't need to worry about him. He's just trying to get back onto the lead lap. But now the 55 truck trying to inch his way ahead of the 11 truck of Craig Kinser. And these two running side by side for the lead has brought Stuart Friesen back up into the mix. Remember that he won the Bristol Dirt Race in the Camping World Truck Series, trying to go 2 for 2 on the dirt this year as Majeski clears Craig Kinser for the race lead. But now he definitely has to deal with that 52 truck of Stuart Friesen. As Friesen's going to take up second spot. On the inside, we have Ty Gibbs getting around Strickler. Those two are both a lap down, but still racing for track position and the opportunity to get around the race leader of Ty Majeski. As it looks like right through turns 3 and 4, Stuart Friesen is going to assume second, sliding up in front of Craig Kinser. Carson Hocevar running in 5th position, a great run so far for that number 42 team. They've had quite a few struggles already this weekend here at Knoxville, trying to bring home a good finish. Here comes Matt Crafton getting the drive off. Down to the inside of the 11 truck of Craig Kinser. Now getting put 3 wide by Hocevar on the very bottom. Hocevar backs out, gets back in line behind the 88 truck of Crafton. Now once again trying the 3 wide move on the bottom. Much like what we saw in the heat races, 3 distinct lines here at Knoxville. Right up by the cushion, middle of the racetrack, and right down by the berm. A little bit of contact right there between the 88 and 42 as Craig Kinser clears them off the top. 52 truck of Stuart Friesen now starting to run down the 55 of Majeski. Making great gains right now. The 69 truck of Will Kimmel, by the way, has actually raced his way up to 9th position. A big surprise there, and a good surprise at that. Here comes the 52 truck making a look down to the inside of the 55 of Majeski. Trying to go side by side. 5 trucks practically under a blanket right now out front here at Knoxville. Incredible racing still. At the stripe, it was the 55, I believe, to lead the lap. Very close margin between those two, and yes, it was Majeski. Here comes another 3 wide move by Hocevar to the inside of Matt Crafton and Craig Kinser. Kinser will clear them once again. 52 truck trying to make it work down on the bottom. 55 trying to pinch him down on exit. He almost made contact right there. The 55 truck sends it very deep on the entry to turn number 1. He's going to let the 52 truck carry some of that momentum. As now the 42 has gotten around Matt Crafton and will also take Craig Kinser in the same move. Hocevar now up in the 3rd as we are side by side for the race lead. Ty Majeski versus Stuart Friesen as Carson Hocevar is quickly closing that gap. Right now, the fastest lap of the race was set by Matt Crafton. That will be another advancement towards the All-Star race. However, he has already made that due to stage victories and poles and race wins this season. But still, because we did not have single truck qualifying, whoever scores the fastest lap would get the spot in the All-Star race, much like being a pole sitter if we were to have single truck qualifying. But instead, we did the heat races to set the field here. Now, side by side, once again, 52 truck still trying to make it work on the bottom as Majeski's been able to pull his way around him using momentum off the top. Here comes Hocevar to the bottom, trying to make it 3 wide for the race lead once again. 5 trucks completely under a blanket now for the race lead here at Knoxville. Craig Kinser all the way down by the berm. Here comes Hocevar trying to make it stick down on the inside. Getting side by side with Majeski now onto the front stretch. Through through turns 1 and 2. He's going to drive it in very deep, going to try and slide up in front of the 55 truck, and Hocevar is now out front here at Knoxville. A little bit of contact right there between Majeski and Carson Hocevar. This might open up the door for the number 11 truck of Craig Kinser to take up second. On the inside as that 55 truck runs wide. Overdrove turn number 1. Craig Kinser is now the second place runner for Spencer Davis. And the 61 truck of Max McLaughlin looks like it's going to be put a lap down by the new race leader of Carson Hocevar, Stuart Friesen, now to the inside. The 11 truck. Friesen's going to take that spot away as Hocevar is going to lap the 61 of Max McLaughlin. Starting to put a pretty good gap on the second place runner of Friesen. Here comes Matt Crafton to the inside of the 55 and 11 trucks. Trying to make it work and hopefully get up into third position if he's lucky. Trying to force the 55 and 11 trucks up the racetrack as now Stuart Friesen has to have his sights set on that 42 truck of Carson Hocevar, and now the final 20 laps of stage number 2. And Craig Kinser hopped the cushion through turns 1 and 2. Looks like he might do the same through 3 and 4. That's going to let Majeski around and the 88 of Crafton. And right now, Schuhart and Terrio are gaining time on these two. The number 92 truck running in 6th position, but it looks like Schuhart's going to take that spot away with a slide job coming off of turn 2. The yellow flag is being displayed. That is going to save Kligerman and Schrader from dropping a lap down, but the race leader is Carson Hocevar above Stuart Friesen, Ty Majeski, Matt Crafton, and the 5th place runner of Craig Kinser. We are back under caution in the middle of stage number 2. And so right here, some sprint car legends get into a disagreement. Donnie Schatz really throttles up on the slow truck of Brad Sweet. Then Sweet, I guess, decides to repay the favor coming off of turn number 2, turns down into the 14 of Schatz, turning him up into the 51 of Brian Brown, and the 6 of Norm Benning, carrying all 4 of them up into the outside wall, bringing out the caution flag. Who would have expected a rivalry between Brad Sweet and Donnie Schatz in the Camping World Truck Series? All right, folks, under this caution flag period, the number 3 truck of Logan Schuhart will be coming down pit road. It looks like so far that's the only truck that will be hitting the pits of the lead lap contenders. Oh, by the way, after that skirmish between the lap truck of Brad Sweet and the number 14 truck of Donnie Schatz, Sweet is actually now out of the race due to crash damage, but Schatz is still in 17th position. Pace truck hits pit road. Number 42 truck of Carson Hocevar leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway for a single file restart on lap 77. And there's the green flag. Pretty good jump by the number 42 truck into the first turn. Here comes Majeski challenging the 52 on the inside, and Matt Crafton trying to make it 3 wide down to turn 3. Friesen moving up into the cushion. Here comes Craig Kinser as well, as Matt Crafton has now taken up the second position. Austin Terrio up into the outside wall off turn 4. And the 52 truck hops the cushion right there and will drop back. Matt Crafton now to second position, absolutely trying to maximize points, as the 99 truck dropped 2 laps down due to overheating trouble. And the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed was the first truck out of the race. Crafton running in second. This will be a huge points day for them if they can keep this up. Majeski on the inside, going side by side with the 11 truck of Craig Kinser. Now going to drop back a little bit as he got a little bit too loose on the entry to turn 3. Now being battled by the 52 truck of Stuart Friesen on the bottom. Right now that 42 truck of Carson Hocevar is more or less on a rail, running some of the fastest laps of today's race right now. However, the fastest overall lap was actually set by the 03 truck of Sheldon Hodenshield, and right now he is guaranteed a spot into the All-Star race. But here comes the 88 of Crafton to the inside. Side-by-side battle between Matt Crafton and Carson Hocevar for the top spot. Hocevar going for his first career victory. Crafton going for his 3rd of the season. Side-by-side at the stripe. 42 is going to have momentum, but Crafton beat him at the line. Look at Friesen really try to send that truck into the corner. Now 3 wide for the top spot goes Majeski on the bottom. That's going to allow the 42 truck to clear him off the top. Hocevar back out front, clearing the field using momentum off the high line. 55 truck now going for second once again. Craig Kinser back into the mix. Farther back, we have the number 98 truck of Grant Enfinger trying to make his way back towards the front of the field as Kinser, Majeski, and Crafton still battle for second. Caution flag being displayed. This may end stage number 2. Carson Hocevar is your race leader. Hocevar is the leader above Craig Kinser. Then Ty Majeski, Matt Crafton, Stuart Friesen, and Grant Enfinger. And so here is what happened on lap number 85 to bring out the caution flag. Johnny Sauter tries to pull a slide job on the 62 truck of Jessica Friesen. Friesen just makes contact with the 13 truck of Sauter, sending Sauter around on the entry to turn number 1. 13 truck goes spinning up into the 83 of Aaron Reitzel. Pretty good front end damage on the 83 truck of Reitzel. And this has now brought us under the caution flag once again. And so, yes, folks, this has ended stage number 2 here at Knoxville Raceway. Carson Hocevar is your stage number 2 winner. Craig Kinser in a close second place. Ty Majeski in third. Matt Crafton, your point leader, in fourth position. And Stuart Friesen rounding out your top 5. And so now, after just a quick commercial break, we'll be back right here at Knoxville Raceway for the beginning of the final stage here in the Corn Belt 150. Welcome back to Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa. We have just gotten done with stage number 2. Now moving on to the final stage here in the Corn Belt 150. The 83 truck of Aaron Reitzel hits pit road to get some of that damage repaired from his run-in with Johnny Sauter. Pace truck dives on the pit road. Carson Hocevar, your race leader, leads the field out of turn number 4 and into the restart zone for the final stage here at Knoxville. And there's the green flag. 42 truck gets a bit of a jump into the first turn, but here comes Craig Kinser on the bottom. And the 55 and the 88. Contact between Majeski and Crafton. Majeski does a great job at saving that truck. Now the 52 truck of Friesen move the 88 truck up the racetrack. Once again, 4 wide they go as Hocevar clears them off the top. Now a 3 wide battle for second as Friesen goes to the inside of both Majeski and Craig Kinser. It looks like Friesen is going to have to settle for maybe third position as Majeski's going to shoot by and take up second. Hocevar trying to run away with this one as the 11 truck of Craig Kinser once again hops the cushion. Friesen looks like he will take up third spot, getting around Matt Crafton. And how about this run for Will Kimmel in that number 69 truck, getting a great run right now in his own equipment. Here comes Haley Deegan, though, missing the hood on that LGR F-150, but currently runs in 9th position. Aerodynamics are really not a factor at this racetrack. But look at this gap the 42 and 55 trucks have put on the field, especially with this 3 wide battle for position farther back. Where did Will Kimmel come from? Kimmel on the inside going for third spot. Now taking up 4th in that number 69 truck. Getting around Austin Terrio and Matt Crafton. A tremendous amount of funding separating the 88 and 69 trucks, as you can tell by that 69 being primarily unsponsored. Now the 69 of Kimmel's going to drive side by side with the 11 truck of Craig Kinser, but he is being challenged by the 98 of Grant Enfinger on the inside and the lap truck of Ty Gibbs. Farther back, we also have the 8 truck of Camden Murphy. He is still on the lead lap and currently runs in 10th position. A great run for Nemco. On contact between the 18 and 92 trucks, they keep it together. Even more contact as Terrio gets fed up with the lap truck of Ty Gibbs. Now a 5 wide move. On the inside goes Sheldon Hodenshield. Incredible battle right now. And now we have a battle for the top spot. Majeski to the inside of the 42 truck of Carson Hocevar. These two racing for the top spot out front. Farther back, they're still going almost 6 wide. Will Kimmel touch the outside wall. The 03 truck starting to carve his way through the field. Hodenshield doing a great job right now. Farther back, we have Stuart Friesen, who has cleared the field for third spot. The 11 truck of Kinser in 4th, and the 98 of Enfinger in 5th spot. You see Reitzel hitting pit road as the caution flag is being called, racing back to the stripe. It is too close to call at the start-finish line, but scoring gives it to Majeski. Ty Majeski clears the field back to the stripe. 55 truck is now out front. Then you have Hocevar, who dropped down to second. Friesen third. The 11 truck of Craig Kinser in fourth, and the 98 of Grant Enfinger in fifth. And yet again, Johnny Sauter gets involved in an accident, but this time it's a little bit worse because he gets clipped by his many lap-down teammate of Ben Rhodes in the number 99 truck. ThorSport teammates get into each other. Johnny Sauter goes around. Gio Scelzi has nowhere to go and makes contact with the 13 truck up into the 20 of Kyle Strickler. And, just for an update on Donnie Schatz right now, he currently runs in 20th position for Tony Stewart Racing in his Camping World Truck Series debut. And so they have just now pulled the number 83 truck of Aaron Reitzel behind the wall. Unfortunately, his Camping World Truck Series debut does not exactly go the way he wanted. Reitzel now out of the race, and the only truck to drop out following that recent wreck with Johnny Sauter was the number 50 of Gio Scelzi. And folks, under caution, your race leader Ty Majeski appears to have had a mechanical problem. That truck is definitely underpowered now. Coming down pit road, they're going to try and lift the hood and diagnose the problem. And everything looked perfect for Ty Majeski to potentially take home a good points day. But guess what? He is sitting on pit road. They got the hood up as the pace truck dives onto pit road. The 42 truck of Carson Hocevar has inherited the race lead as the 55 truck takes on problems into the restart zone. And there's the green flag for Hocevar. Down to turns 1 and 2. Here comes Stuart Friesen diving to the inside. Then Kinser making a little bit of contact. Enfinger into the mix as well. Kinser trying to go 3 wide on the bottom. And Enfinger might just make it 4 wide. They make contact. Kinser turned into the inside wall. Hard left side damage on the 11 truck of Craig Kinser. The 55 truck of Majeski now comes off pit road. They're back under full power, but I believe that Majeski is now going to be 2 laps down. Really insurmountable for that number 55 team as Friesen slips by to take the race lead at the start-finish line as the caution flag waves. Yellow flag is out. Stuart Friesen is now your race leader here at Knoxville. Friesen out front. Hocevar running in second position. Grant Enfinger third. 92 truck of Terrio in fourth. And the 03 of Sheldon Haudenschild raced his way up to fifth. And so here's what happened to bring out the caution flag. The 6 truck of Norm Benning was racing with the 87 of Timothy Peters for 15th spot. Peters makes some contact with the rear bumper of the 6 of Benning as Benning drives into the corner just a little bit too hard, sends the 6 truck around, and Benning gets hit into by the 56 of Mike Marlar, bringing out the caution flag once again. And folks, there's the 11 truck of Craig Kinser dropping 1 lap down from race leader Stuart Friesen. They're trying to get that truck repaired. A lot of left side damage on Kinser's truck, and let's just say this, he is not very happy whatsoever with the driver of the number 98 truck. And you know what? You know who's benefiting from this race becoming a race of attrition? It's the number 10 team of Ken Schrader. They've moved their way up into 25th position by just staying on the lead lap and avoiding the majority of the accidents. And so we've had 2 trucks drop out of the race following that accident. Both the 6 of Norm Benning and the 56 of Mike Marlar are officially out of the race. So it's an unfortunate end to Norm Benning's driver ownership career, but he will be returning in a much stronger fashion as a driver and also as a general manager of Rev Racing, which will be taking over his Camping World Truck Series operation, likely to give Benning at least some starts on the dirt races over the course of the playoffs and into next season. So he will likely run for Rev Racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track. Pace truck ducks onto pit road. Number 52 truck of Stuart Friesen leads the field out of turn number 4 and onto the front straightaway, now into the restart zone on lap 113. Watch out for Ty Majeski, who's restarting 4th in line, trying to get one of his laps back. There's the green. Down to turn 1, here comes the 42 of Hocevar, the 98 making contact with the 42, and the 55 trying to shove his nose in there. Contact between Hocevar and Enfinger. Hocevar has to catch that 42 truck. Majeski shoots by on the inside. Stuart Friesen takes complete advantage of this, shooting by to take the race lead. There was contact between Enfinger and Majeski right there as the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs hops the cushion. The 97 truck of Jesse Little on the inside of Sheldon Haudenschild and Austin Theriault right there. It's almost surprising that we're still under green, as there's a 3-wide battle right now for track position. The 2-lap down truck of Majeski down on the inside, hoping to have a shot at the 52 of Friesen to get one of his laps back. A nearly 5-wide move made on the inside by your pole sitter, Logan Schuchart. He was only the pole sitter, by the way, because of the inversion from heat number 1, but still he started inside row 1. And now he's finally starting to make his way back through the field, now up to 7th and challenging for 6th. Maybe going to get 5th right here, getting around the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. The ongoing battle for 2nd between the 98 and 42 trucks is still heating up, as you have the 55 of Majeski trying to shove his nose in on the inside. A more than 1 second gap now between the 1st and 2nd place runners of Friesen and Hocevar, as Friesen is looking to sweep the first 2 dirt races on the season. How about this? Logan Schuchart has made his way up into 5th position, and we also have Sheldon Haudenschild, who's driven his way all the way up to 4th. We could have some surprise dirt race ringers possibly steal away the victory late in the going here at Knoxville. As now, Stuart Friesen has just 30 laps to go here in the Corn Belt 150. And so now finally Hocevar has cleared the number 98 truck of Grant Enfinger. Here comes Schuchart and Haudenschild on the inside of Enfinger. An intense battle for that 3rd spot. Enfinger makes the crossover move down to the inside. 03 and 3 trucks run side by side right there. It looks like Haudenschild's going to clear him on the exit of the corner. But those two really trying to run down that 98 of Grant Enfinger, as now the 42 truck can have his sights set on the 52 of Stuart Friesen. The gap is now just 1.2 seconds. He's starting to reel him in. Now on the inside, we have the number 03 truck trying to pressure the 3 of Logan Schuchart. Schuchart trying to hold that momentum off the outside line. Can't quite do it, as Haudenschild still defending the inside. Logan Schuchart hops the cushion through turns 1 and 2. Sheldon Haudenschild will clear him for 4th spot. On the inside, we have Austin Hill now trying to make his way up to 5th. Almost out of nowhere, and Will Kimmel back up into the picture. Now running at the start-finish line. Our scoring will update, running in 9th position as the 23 truck of Brett Holmes, who's running right now for a playoff spot, is currently running in 8th position. And it's great news for him that Majeski has experienced trouble. Grant Enfinger hops the cushion through turns 1 and 2. That lets Sheldon Haudenschild take up 3rd. And it's going to let Logan Schuchart on the inside take 4th. Grant Enfinger starting to fade late in the race here at Knoxville. Lap traffic slowed up the number 52 truck just a little bit. It's actually slowing up the 42 even more, as Carson Hocevar tries to use up some of that cushion to get around the 11 truck. Can't quite do it. Now he's going to use the momentum and clear Craig Kinzer down to turn 1. The gap separating 1st and 2nd is now 1.6 seconds, but up in front of Friesen, he's got more lap trucks to deal with, including Strickler and McLaughlin, and then a large gap up to the next lap trucks of Kligerman and Jessica Friesen. Down on the inside, Schuchart has taken up 3rd off of Haudenschild, as Haudenschild got stalled out by the number 11 truck of Craig Kinzer. So now Schuchart might be able to start a charge towards the front of the field. He is currently 3 seconds back with 20 laps to go here in the Corn Belt 150. Grant Enfinger back to the inside of Sheldon Haudenschild. Looks like Haudenschild's going to hold the momentum off the outside line and clear him at the stripe. And Stuart Friesen almost did not get held up by the lap traffic whatsoever. Very cleanly got around them. But that 42 truck has started to run just consistently faster laps and has gained a full 0.3 of a second that last lap. And Brett Holmes has really found some late race speed in that number 23 truck. He's raced his way up to 7th and is reeling in the 6th place runner of Austin Hill. Here comes the 51 of Brian Brown to the inside of the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. That's going to move Brown up into 8th position. And look at this, the gap separating the 52 and 42 trucks has started to close up just slightly. At the line that time by, it was 1.17 seconds. And you know what? Friesen might have to deal with the lap traffic. You saw right there Ken Schrader pass our camera. Then just a few seconds later, we have the 52 truck of Friesen running past. So it's entirely possible that before we see the checkered flag, Friesen will have to deal with more lap traffic. That's going to bring Hocevar right back up into the battle. Schuchart on back is pretty much too far out of the mix to try and make a late race charge at the victory unless we get a caution flag. But right here we might get one. Contact between the 61 and 98 trucks of McLaughlin and Enfinger. Fortunately, Enfinger gets down to the inside without anyone getting sent around. Now Hodenshield and Austin Hill race for track position. On the inside, the 03 truck going for 5th. It looks like he's going to get it. Slides up almost into the 16 truck and will make it stick off of turn 2. And so now racing out of turns 3 and 4, Stuart Friesen now just has 10 laps to go here at Knoxville Raceway, trying to sweep the dirt races in the 2021 season. And it's looking all the more possible that he could pull off that feat, becoming the first driver in Camping World Truck Series history to win 2 dirt races in a season. Oh, and there's contact coming off of turn number 4. Into the inside wall goes Parker Kligerman. These are lap trucks racing for track position right in front of Stuart Friesen, but no caution. Right in front of Friesen is the number 11 truck of Craig Kinser. Can he get around him cleanly once again? It looks like the answer will be yes. 1 second now the separation between the 52 and 42 trucks. 1.08 seconds to be precise. 3.3 seconds, though, back to the third place runner of Schuchart. Now the next lap truck up in front of Stuart Friesen is the 10 truck of Ken Schrader. With now just 6 laps to go, 1.02 seconds. Now the gap, but that 42 truck is just not gaining enough time to try and make a charge on him. The 23 truck has just gotten around the 16 of Austin Hill. Brett Holmes now up into 6th position. Now just 4 laps to go at the start-finish line. It looks like Stuart Friesen will have to make a mistake for that number 42 truck to catch him. 1.06 seconds the separation. Friesen will be catching up to the lap truck of Ken Schrader, but I don't think Schrader is far enough off the pace really to disrupt the number 52 truck's lap time, because the laps here are so quick that Friesen just has to run a pretty line and he will be able to take home this victory because Hocevar is not gaining at all. And the 16 truck of Austin Hill has once again cleared the 23 of Brett Holmes. Hill now back up into 6th. Now just 2 laps to go for Stuart Friesen. He's going to race his way to the inside of Ken Schrader. Potentially right here, Schrader will give him the line, and it looks like he will. Schrader lets him by. And now the white flag is out for Stuart Friesen here at Knoxville. He's going to put Ken Schrader down 1 lap. Schrader, I believe, was running in 25th position. And Hocevar is just way too far back to try and make a charge on him through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Stuart Friesen onto the front straightaway will sweep the dirt races, taking home the win at Bristol and now at Knoxville. Hallmark Friesen Racing back in victory lane here at Knoxville Raceway. Stuart Friesen takes home his 2nd win of the 2021 season here at Knoxville. A great battle there at the finish, and once again he was in proper position to take home the victory and capitalized on others' mistakes. And so Stuart Friesen has done it. He has taken home his 2nd win of 2021, his 2nd win of the year on dirt, winning at both Bristol and Knoxville, and this is the final race of the Triple Truck Challenge. And guess what that means? Stuart Friesen is now $50,000 richer with the bonus money and has scored 2 races of primary sponsorship from Camping World, beginning with the playoffs. So that's going to be a huge benefit for Hallmark Friesen Racing. The 3 teams that are getting Camping World sponsorship from races of the trip are Nemco Motorsports, On Point Motorsports, and Hallmark Friesen Racing, all teams that deserve the sponsorship. And that just proves how great of a program this is for Marcus Lemonis to put up, because it benefits those who truly need it, and it brings a lot of incentive to the crazy type of racing we saw tonight here at Knoxville. Carson Hocevar brought that number 42 truck home a close 2nd position. Logan Schuchart drove his way all the way back through the field. It's kind of a back and forth day for him. Started on pole, fell back pretty far, drove his way all the way back up to 3rd before the end of the race. Then Grant Enfinger finishes in 4th position in the number 98 truck for Thorsport Racing. Sheldon Hodenshield in 5th spot, I guess making up for his teammate Brennan Poole failing to make the race, so it's still a good run for On Point Motorsports there. Austin Hill stole 6th position there at the end of the race, beating out Brett Holmes, who dropped down to 7th. Austin Terrio in 8th position. Haley Deegan with a good run in 9th spot, and Brian Brown, the overall track record holder here in a sprint car, finished in his Camping World Truck Series debut in 10th spot. Matt Crafton brought the 88 truck home in 11th position, way better than the rest of his competition of both Sheldon Creed and Ben Rhodes. This will be a huge points day for that number 88 team. Other notable finishers include Will Kimmel in 13th spot, Donnie Schatz in 15th, Logan Seavey in 16th place, substituting for the suspended John Hunter Nemechek. We also had Jessica Friesen bringing home her number 62 truck in 22nd position. Parker Kligerman all the way down in 24th spot, kind of a hard one to swallow after how good his truck was, especially with his bold four-wide pass for the stage number 1 victory. And finally, Ken Schrader finishing just barely one lap down in 25th position. A good run for Jennifer Jo Cobb's race team. Oh, and by the way, the fastest lap of the race was set by the number 16 truck of Austin Hill. He actually set the fastest lap of 17.767 with 15 laps to go in the feature. So obviously, with his 2 wins on the season, he was already locked into the All-Star race anyway. But here's a fun note for you. The truck that was second fastest was actually the 14 of Donnie Schatz. So he had a lot of speed, just really didn't have the consistency to put together a good finish. And now, following Knoxville, take a look at Mr. Consistency's point gap. Matt Crafton, after scoring yet another great finish here at Knoxville and taking advantage of the mistakes that both Sheldon Creed and Ben Rhodes made over the course of the 150-lap feature, Crafton now has a 28-point gap above that number 2 truck of Sheldon Creed, and he also now has a 36-point gap above the 99 truck of Ben Rhodes. So now we technically have actually 4 drivers within mathematical contention, that being within 46 points of the point leader, but the margins are so large that it's looking all the more unlikely for them to usurp Matt Crafton in the point lead. Matt Crafton would more or less have to have a very much off weekend and end up DNFing for them to really make any gains on them. And it would more or less have to be something like Matt Crafton finished dead last or DNQ, and Sheldon Creed would more or less have to go out and win the race. That would be more or less the most logical way of surpassing Matt Crafton in the point standings, because right now it's looking like his consistency might just carry him to the regular season championship in just 4 races from now at Daytona. So just to reiterate, Creed is 28 points out, Ben Rhodes 36 points out, Enfinger picked up 3 spots in points here at Knoxville, up to 4th, 46 points out. Those are the 3 contenders within mathematical contention of closing that gap up to the 88 truck of Crafton and taking home the regular season championship at the current moment. Parker Kligerman still remains 5th in points after his dramatic stage number 1 victory here at Knoxville, but unfortunately did not get a finish to back up his performance. He still sets 57 points out of the point lead. Ty Gibbs loses 2 spots in points down to 6th. He is 60 points out of the point lead. Timothy Peters lost 1 full spot in point standings down to 7th. He is now 64 points out of the point lead. Christian Eckes picked up 1 down to 8th, 70 points out of the lead. Ty Dillon dropped down 1 with his DNQ, his first of the season, by the way, here at Knoxville, dropping down to 9th in point standings, 82 points out of the point lead. And also, Casey Mears, his teammate, DNQ'd here at Knoxville, but did not move any positions in point standings. He currently remains 10th, 91 points out of the point lead. And so now in your playoff standings, Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes, Austin Hill, Stuart Friesen, Sheldon Creed, Grant Enfinger, Ty Gibbs, Timothy Peters, Casey Mears, Ryan Truex, Dawson Graham, and Brendan Poole are all locked into the playoffs via their wins so far this season. Parker Kligerman still sets as best of the rest. He is 42 points above that cutoff line. It's not a full race, but it's still a pretty comfortable margin. Ty Dillon, after his DNQ here at Knoxville, could potentially drop outside of the playoffs now. He's in the danger zone, just 17 points above, and Brett Holmes is just 1 point on the inside of that top 16. Austin Theriault is just 1 point out in his Brad Keselowski Racing Chevrolet. Ty Majeski, after suffering mechanical problems here at Knoxville, he had a great run going, could have won the race, but that mechanical problem knocked him to 2 laps down and a finish in the high 30s. So that means he is now 26 points out of making the top 16, more or less getting into that must-win mentality in the final few races of the regular season. However, Majeski did finish runner-up at both Michigan and Texas. So he's a good drafting style racer, and we have Daytona Beach and Daytona International Speedway coming up, and those tracks might just play right into his wheelhouse. John Hunter Nemechek, after serving his first race of his suspension here at Knoxville by sitting out and having Logan Seavey drive the number 4 truck. He is now 45 points outside of making the playoffs, and that number's only going to get bigger as he will also have to sit out of Richmond as well. So John Hunter Nemechek will have to win at either Myrtle Beach, Daytona Beach, or Daytona International Speedway to make the playoffs. And finally, Zane Smith, after DNQing the Corn Belt 150 here at Knoxville Raceway, he is now 55 points out of making the top 16, absolutely in must-win territory. Zane Smith really needs to pull something off in these final 4 races of the regular season. And so, folks, that does it for our telecast of the Corn Belt 150 from Knoxville Raceway, the inaugural Camping World Truck Series event at this facility. We hope that you have all enjoyed it. The next time you'll be seeing us will be up at Watkins Glen International when the NASCAR Cup Series takes on the old layout of WGI without the backstretch chicane for the first time since 1991. And so now we congratulate Stuart Friesen and company on their second win of the 2021 season, sweeping the dirt races so far, and they are now $50,000 richer and have 2 races of guaranteed Camping World sponsorship thanks to their victory in the final race of the Triple Truck Challenge.